Hello, everybody. We're going to start with and discussion, and Azul is going to start.
Definition of what is communicative competence in communication. This is the ability to use a language effectively and appropriately in real life situations. It is not really about grammar or about rules, it is about how to use it in real life situations, how, when, and why to use language. So it also tells us that communicative competence goes beyond memorizing rules, and and the ability to speak and understand different context. And this is going to help us a lot in our everyday life if we know how to speak it. Because if we don't exactly know what to say, or we don't really know how to communicate, there are going to be many misunderstandings. And that is the importance of communicative competence. So we can also understand that when we adjust our language, depending on the situation, this can also help us a lot. And if we know how to use it between formal and informal situations, and if we know how to use it to achieve real purposes, for example, when we want to apologize or when we want to ask something, um, this also goes beyond asking anyone else. So if we want to speak to a friend, it's definitely going to be different if we are going to speak to someone who is superior to us. And some of the points of view that I have is that it can help us a lot to communicate clearly. We can interact with others, and we can improve in our relationships and understand people better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Refers to what Azul says. Yeah, I'm agree with her because communicative competence, sorry, is not only about, as she said, only knowing grammar rules, but it's about use language effectively in real situations. That it's a fact that she said that I'm really agreed with that.
I think the same also because according to Claire Krasham, language and culture are deeply connected because language expresses the social and cultural reality of each of us. So it is in our daily lives, with our family conversations, in friendships, at work, in social media. When we greet people from different places, not only from different countries, but even from town to town, it can be something. Might be differences. So it's really important to know how our culture can influence others.
Talking about that, you mentioned that cultural, and I will go with cultural communication. That refers how culture influence the way people express ideas, interact, and also understand each other. And that's something that you said. As well, every culture has its own values, beliefs, and also obviously communication styles, which affect how people speak and behave in conversation. And the clear example is us talking in this Zoom meeting. For example, in some cultures, people communicate in a very direct way, while in others, they prefer to be more indirect and polite, such as Japanese and Korean. Another important aspect that I see is body language. For example, now I'm pretty nervous, so maybe your laptop shaking. And that's important too because some cultural person doesn't reflect that. Be different depending on the culture.
Important. And sometimes that's why misunderstandings may occur because some people may interpret messages in a different way. A simple gesture or tone of voice or expressions that may have a different meaning in other cultures. So, for example, according to Edward Hall from the book Beyond Culture, some cultures communicate in a direct way, while others relied on indirect messages, or even, as you said, body language. So it's important to know that.
Understanding cultural communication help us become more effective and something very important, be respectful with other differences cultural.
Yeah.
What do you say, Azul?
Yeah, I think if we also take the time and the effort to make a little research on how others socialize, on how others culturally socialize, I think it's gonna be really helpful because we know how the others usually tag with each other, right? If we want to go to even another Mexican state, it's probably going to be very different from how we normally think things are, right?
Yeah.
Like in the north of Mexico, they speak different and they use different words for some things, and I think that is really important as well.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
yeah, they tend to speak like a little bit, we say it in Spanish, golpeado, that it's different
Mhm.
from center
Yeah.
of Mexico, right?
So
Yeah.
to wrap up, for me, cultural and intercultural communication are not only academic concepts, but it's essential. Those are essential tools for knowing our world. It helps us
Yeah.
grow and understand each other. So it's very important to go beyond what we are accustomed to. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, I think it's really an enriching experience to know and understand how others do things that we normally do in a way and how others do it in another way. I think that is really enriching. Yeah.
That's true. And you, Alice?
So with this values thing, it it grows. We will grow up when we think that we are being empathic with the difference that we have.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that teaches to be patient also and try to understand our differences. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for working with me.
Yes, thank you as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you.